Is it real or just a dream? Can I tell you what I've seen? Pretty much at 4 a.m. a man appeared in front of me. I don't recall a single thing. I'm so lost inside my mind. No one answers when I ring. Was it real or just a lie? Can I tell you what happened? Pretty much at 4 a.m. something happened. Pretty much, I don't know what happened. Pretty much, everyone is super nice. My friends were home, but I'm not sure. I went straight past and left her there. When I saw her lying on the floor, I ran away, but I wasn't scared. I don't recall a single thing. I'm so lost inside my mind. No one answers when I ring. Was it real or just a lie? Can I tell you what happened? Pretty much at 4 a.m. something happened. Pretty much, I don't know what happened. Pretty much, everyone is super nice. No one's answering. I'm really confused. I'm not remembering. Please, may I be excused? It wasn't like anything was wrong. I don't know if this is real or not. She danced with the dog and sang a song. What happened? I don't know. I forgot. I don't recall a single thing. I'm so lost inside my mind. No one answers when I ring. Was it real or just a lie? Can I tell you what happened? Pretty much at 4 a.m. something happened. Pretty much, I don't know what happened. Pretty much, everyone is super nice. I don't remember at all.
Crimes after dark, close the night out right. Panel at the table in that half-dead light. Miss Robin in the middle, calling every shot, directing and producing, till the story runs hot. 1-1 from the city, badge heavy on his chest, towing that law like a wicked chain, spitting facts, no rest. Crimes after dark, we close the night out right. Tear through the lies till the wrong sounds like a fight. All of the answers buried so deep out of sight. We watch the threads unravel. We watch the threads ignite. JJ in the corner, state of the deep in his head. Which lies to toss and which ones to keep instead? Dago from the cafe says forget about it. Leans back, spins his thoughts like a blade cutting holes in the track. Lee at the front, head advocate, steady stare. Every word like a warning, every silence a dare. was another night. Crimes after dark, we close the night outright. Tear through the lies till the wrong sounds like a fight. All of the answers buried so deep out of sight. We watch the threads unravel. We watch the threads ignite. You can bury it in paper, you can lock it in a file, but the truth bleeds through, drip by drip, tile by tile. We're dragging it to daylight, name by name, line by line. If you wrote it in the shadows, we'll read it out this time. Yeah. Crimes after dark, we close the night outright. Tear through the lies till the wrong sounds like a fight. All of the answers buried so deep out of sight. We watch the threads unravel. We watch the threads ignite.
All right, everybody, welcome to a Crimes After Dark on Friday night. Let's see, we've got some people missing. We got some people here. It's a Friday night fuckery night. I shouldn't say that so early. We're only 7 minutes in. I think we need to wait till like 10 minutes in before we start dropping F-bombs. But anyways, maybe because it's a truncated version of the word or extended version of the word, maybe I can get away with it. Anyways, let's bring the panel up right away. I got a lot of distractions going on, like, for example, my dog just escaped and I got to try to find my dog, but I'm still going to try to pull this show off somehow. So let's get the panel up as quickly as possible. Robin, our co-producer, Dago from True Crime Cafe. We got JJ from State of the Deep. How you guys doing tonight?
Forgot about it.
Pretty good.
Very good.
Gotta say, it's starting out like a weird night for me, man.
Go get your dog, dude.
Go get your damn dog, bro.
I have been looking all
we
over
can
the
handle
neighborhood for this dog. I've been looking all over the neighborhood for this dog already.
We got it. We can handle it till you come back.
Yeah, I'll give it a few minutes and then I'll go hunt for her again. But yeah, so what have you guys got going on?
We'll do a full takeover, and when you come back, you won't be able to get back in, and it'll be all good.
That's probably true.
We will really
CIA.
go off the
I'll
rails.
take
We'll
over.
talk about everything but true crime.
Yes. And we got the CIA guy. He can lead us through it all. We're good.
Yeah. I'm sure he's got a public service announcement for us
Exactly.
tonight. I'm sure. Well, it's good to see you guys. I know one's going to be busy in the big city. There's a lot of stuff going on in the city of New York that could take special attention tonight. So hopefully all goes well in the crazy Big Apple. And yeah, it's going to be a dangerous
Did you
place.
get new glasses, Joe?
What's that?
Did you get new glasses?
No, these are. I have two pairs of glasses. This is the ones I usually wear.
I don't know why. It looks like your eyes are more prominent tonight. I don't know. Anyway,
Maybe
sorry.
it's the sunburn I got on my face is making my eyes pop out more.
Could be.
Are you trying to say he's looking extra sexy tonight? Like something about your eyes
Yes,
tonight.
yes. He's hot
Just
tonight.
speaks
He
to
is.
me. Yeah.
I made it in the
Oh.
nick of time tonight. I went on a
Yeah.
200-mile ride with one of my friends and had
On
to
the new
make
bike.
Yeah, and through some crazy open range in the middle of nowhere, and it was so windy, man. It was crazy how I was getting blown all over the road. It's very, very, very high fire danger in Colorado right now.
Yeah, right.
Because it's hot,
Yeah.
and whenever it's real windy and hot, it's real bad, man. And it was way worse than I thought. I was getting blown all over the road. Sketchy.
Crazy. You got to be careful with that stuff, buddy.
Everybody
Yeah.
knows when you're getting blown on the road, it's very dangerous. So
Yeah, I've heard that.
Anyways,
You know I'm
all
gonna
right,
hit the
well,
button every time
it's
you
Friday.
say something.
It's Friday night. I need one of those soundboards. I need. I need. No, because then I'll wear it out and I'll be like.
Oh, DA.
Anyways,
Even when you don't try, you drop
Yeah,
those.
you don't even have to try. It just happens, and it's like, oh my god, my finger
I
twitched
think-
on the button the whole night. Like,
The
I've only
best
held-
ones are when he does them without trying.
Right.
Oh,
I've
either
only
way.
held back 3 innuendos. Like I thought I was doing pretty good.
welcome to Friday, everybody.
Oh God.
So, anyways,
Jesus.
it's I'm glad that you guys are here enjoying the Friday night. I'm tipping a few. I'm gonna have, by the way, real quick. I know
Oh.
we want to get into true crime. I had a video today
Maybe.
on Nikki Stein's, right? And it's sad because again, I think there was a big bombshell in the Nikki Stein's thing.
Yeah.
But didn't catch everybody's attention, but it was kind of surprising. Some surprising details about the state of mind that Mickey Steins was in before the shooting of Judge Mullins. That
Right.
was big. After the show tonight, by the way, we are going to do my alternate channel. It's going to be a late night thing, so hopefully some of my panelists can join me. If not, I'll do it by myself. I'll fucking do it live. I'll do it by myself. But on the Devil's Advocates Beyond channel, which we talk about more conspiracy, more UFO, more paranormal, more all weird shit, all kinds of crazy stuff. We'll be doing that tonight at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is about an hour after this show is going to close down. So hopefully you can join us for that as well. Go ahead, Diggle.
Forget it. I was having a flashback moment. One threw that whole video game thing at me the other night about the Halloween
Yes.
thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So everybody knows I'm a massive, massive Halloween Michael Myers fan. Okay. When I have a doll sitting next to me, that should tell you something. So I went and looked at this game. Holy shit. Like
Is it
all
good?
these other games we've looked at, DA, they're okay. This game,
Yeah.
it's like it looks like a damn movie. Literally,
What's
it
it
looks like
called?
a movie.
What's
It's
it called?
Halloween, the Halloween
Okay.
game.
Yeah, on
And
Steam. Is it going to be on
it's got-
Steam?
Do what?
Is it going to be on Steam, the Steam platform? for
Yeah,
PSCs?
it's already. I think it's already advertised there. So we may have to look into that because I know I'm not even a gamer anymore, you guys. But that game, I love the movie. I love everything Halloween. Anything and everything Halloween is like my favorite thing ever. And when he pointed that out, I went and looked, and my wife doesn't even do games, and she's like, "That looks so good." I was like, "Yeah." And remember what I said the other night about it better if it. I hope it turns out to be like. Why can't I remember the name of that game, Lee? Fucking game is it? We keep
Which
talking
one?
about the one that I told you had all the DLCs and shit. We both loved it.
The Quarry.
The Quarry. Okay, so.
Yeah.
I know none of you guys probably give two shits what I'm telling right now because nobody would care if you're in the right mind.
It's
But-
Friday night. Fuck it, we're going for it.
Right, but you need to look at that. Just go look at Steam when you get some extra time and look at this game. It really does look like damn. It looks great. So
And it's a little spindy. It's a little spindy, but it looks. I'm looking forward to it. It looks like it's. I thought this was going to be a co-op. It's a single player only. It's not.
well, they're supposed to add.
It is online co-op. Okay, it does have.
Yeah, I was going to say they're supposed to be. If you get online, you can do it. But that, from my understanding, it's got some of the same basis of the Quarry, kind of the way you can play it. So
Yeah.
yes,
All right,
Amanda.
well, what did Amanda say?
Hey,
You
wait,
talked
do they
about
have
Halloween.
it for
Halloween the game.
PlayStation?
What'd you say, JJ?
Do they have it for PlayStation?
What platform?
Yes.
Xbox. Is it PlayStation as well?
They have it for and you can play it PC, which I thought they had it for both. They better because I have I would play it here, but I have the PlayStation.
I see.
Yeah,
The
I'm-
problem is I have the older PlayStation. I have the 4.
That's what I have. I don't have that new one.
Okay, hopefully
And
I can.
They
get it,
usually
'cause-
they've been dropping all these games for the 4 still. But I learned the PC stuff and I kind of like it. If I can get if I can get the controls down, that's my biggest issue. On PC, it's really a lot better. But I only want to play it because I want to. It's like playing through the movie. That's what I want to do. That's the kind of cool thing.
Oh, that's one of my favorite. That's probably my favorite horror movie of all time is Halloween. It's one of my
Yes.
all-time favorites. I watch it every year, and I've seen it
Yeah.
a million times.
And that-
Yep.
Okay, I
Every
have
year.
to ask you guys. I have to ask you guys. So I grew up, like you obviously did, in the era of the slasher films, right? There was Friday the 13th, there was
Mhm.
Halloween, there was Nightmare on Elm Street. Why is it? If you think about it, it's pretty dark for people to enjoy those movies. Why did we get into a movie?
Because we like
that
to
its
be scared.
fundamental right. It's the fundamental
Safely. Yeah.
premise is like
we like to be
murder
scared
and
safely.
mayhem.
Well,
Yeah.
let me explain something I found out, because I didn't even realize this till I became an adult. I've loved that movie since I was a kid. The music, I love the music, and that's the music side of me. You know, the song Carpenter came up with that song himself. And don't get me wrong, the first one that they created is the best one. The original one by John Carpenter, okay? And that movie, if you think about it, you guys, go watch it. If you've never seen it, with God, shame on you if you haven't seen it, but okay, the one from 1977, I think it was. It's the John Carpenter, not the Rob Zombie, which I don't mind that one either, but watch the first one.
Yeah, Rob Zombie was pretty good.
If you pay attention, there is absolutely no gore, no no scenes that you would have to be warned to watch. But what they did was they left it up to your imagination. You would see him go up with like a knife to do something, and then they cut the scene. And then next thing you know, there's somebody laying on the ground or stuck to the wall or however he did it. But you never saw him do anything. And that is the mastery of John Carpenter. That's the way. And it was such a low budget movie, you guys. It was insane how low the budget was for that movie. And it turned out to be an American cult classic that was like just one of the best movies ever made.
Now, I have to take issue with this. And please, whoever you are, take this in the right frame. Bitch, please, we invented video games. Do people in their 50s
That's right.
play video games? We were fucking there at the beginning of video games, right? So we all
Yep.
play video
He
games.
plays video
Because-
games himself. He's
first-
just playing with you.
Are you? It was
Yeah.
hilarious. But you know, it was kind of funny because when I was younger, when video games were kind of newer, my mother said to me I was playing too many video games, and she said, "You can't. You need to grow up sometime. You can't spend the rest of your life playing video games." Fuck yeah, you can. Not only that,
Yes,
but
you
when I
can.
studied psychology, I found video games actually are very good for the brain. A lot of them are puzzle solving.
Mhm.
It keeps your brain fresh. You have to figure out ways to get around and beat
Yep.
the system and game the system. That's good for the brain. So video games actually are
That-
a good thing for your brain to keep you healthy. So
That game, the Quarry, that I've talked about so many times, you guys, was probably one of the best storyline video games I've ever seen in my life. If they're really going to put out more DLCs to go for this game, it's like you play the story out. That's the whole
Yeah.
point. And that's why it was so interesting to me.
bitch, please. By the way, did I ever? I'm sorry, I digress. Did I ever tell you the story that I almost got sent to HR for saying bitch, please?
No.
So
Yeah.
I'll try to be brief. Key and Peele did a sketch, where they were like talking about saying to their wives, "Bitch, if you
Yeah.
want to go to Taylor," right? And so, anyways, one time I was a male administrator. I had a female administrator working under me. Not that way, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, when we had a female boss, and one day I was like, "Bitch, if I wanted a stapler, I would have asked for a stapler." And my boss was like, "Oh my God, no, you can't say that to your coworker." And I almost ended up in HR, and I'm like, "No. She's okay with it." Like, no, she's not okay. No woman is okay with you saying, "Bitch, if I want a stapler, I would have asked for a stapler." I had to explain to her the whole Key and Peele thing. When we showed her the episode, she laughed. We got a good ride out of it. But yeah, I sometimes I let the whole "bitch, please" come out, and not everybody gets the reference. So, anyways.
Jesus. Yeah, if you haven't ever watched Key and Peele, they were hilarious. My
I
favorite
need to go to HR.
my favorite thing they ever did was the when he was the substitute teacher
Yeah,
and they were calling out people by their names.
Oh yeah, that was
Aaron.
hilarious.
Aaron, why
Aaron.
aren't you listening? Aaron?
Stop playing with me. Get out right now. I love that. That was so fun. I still to this day die laughing.
The Locky?
Yeah. yes.
That's funny shit.
That was
That
one.
was
That
great.
was hilarious. That
No
and
need
how,
to
see how
focus.
angry he
Yeah.
was getting. and
Yes.
Oh yeah, he's like, "Don't you play with me? Don't
Throwing
you
the book across the slamming things down. Hey, Ron.
Hey,
No.
Aaron, why don't you answer me when I call you Aaron?"
My name is Aaron. God damn it. Damn. It was so good. Those two are great. And you know what's crazy is the other dude, Peel. Is it Peel? I can't think of his first name. He's turned out to be
Keegan?
like yeah, that's it. Thank you. He's turned out to be like a really, really good horror movie director. He's put out some really interesting stuff. truly
Yeah.
like psychological stuff too.
Oh, Ange K, welcome back to Ange K is yeah, she used to be around a lot, but she's been super
She,
busy lately. So good to see you back. Yeah.
The Delphi lady, wasn't she?
Yeah, she went with us to Delphi, Indiana.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good to see you tonight.
Super
Miss
cool to
Kay.
meet her.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
That
good to
was
see
the
you.
best one, Chihuahuas. That was probably one of the best skits they ever did. I laughed the entire night after watching that. I still thinking about it makes me laugh.
Yeah, them and Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle used to make me laugh my ass off as well too.
He had points. Yeah, he just gets on my nerves now. I don't know why.
Well, I liked his skit comedy. His skit comedy was hilarious.
We just watched my Wi-Fi and my son just watched Kevin Hart's roast. Oh my
Yeah.
god!
Oh, yeah. I watched a little bit of Kevin Hart's roast. I watched a little bit of that.
That was wild.
Shit,
was
we should
wild.
probably talk true crime at some point. But I
Dude,
don't-
they go Tony Hinchcliffe. If you put him on
Yes.
a roast, he goes.
Yes.
He goes. Nobody goes harder than him.
He was on there. He was on that one. That was. Yeah, he was a trip.
you have to have some thick skin to go to a roast like that. I mean, they get damn personal.
That one woman, I can't think of her name that was on there. She had the crazy hair, and they kept messing with her the whole time until she got up there, and they were like, "This is going to be what'd they say, a Christian roast, so it's going to be boring." And she came on and just slammed everybody. It was so bad.
You talking
It
about
was so
Chelsea
bad.
Handler?
No, they were making fun of her pretty good too. Oh my god, some of the shit they said to her was crazy. Oh,
Yeah, that was pretty.
it was
fun.
a good one.
Those look when I went to Austin, Texas last year or a year and a half ago, we went to Joe Rogan's comedy club,
Right.
and it was the day after the election. It just so happened when I was there with a group of people, and Tony Hinchcliffe came out unannounced,
Uh-huh.
and it was pretty hilarious because he got put under fire when he made those comments about Puerto Rico on the
Yep.
Madison Square Garden thing. So it was pretty funny.
Yeah, he's a trip. He does a show.
Kill Tony.
That's it. Yeah. My son watches that all the time. Some of those guys are ruthless.
Billy Crystal's roast of Bob Reiner. No, I didn't see that.
I've never seen that either. That must be a while back.
That's old school shit right there.
That is
Right.
going
Yeah.
old school. It's all good. It's all good.
Anything that makes
Almo-
you laugh, guys, you can't push it to the side. We need that these days.
Nope.
Really bad.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
seriously.
I love some good comedy. I love me some good comedy.
Kevin cracks me up because he's so little. And when he goes into his
I know.
little skits and he jumps up and down and slams his hands up, it's just so funny to watch him. It's hilarious. He's good.
He's a good sport though, you know what I mean? Like
Oh
those-
yeah.
Look, it's like a toddler having a temper tantrum.
It's what he reminds me of. It's hilarious.
Yeah, he's pretty
Everything he's in, he's pretty good. He's definitely made a name for himself. And back in our day, you guys, we were all about Eddie Murphy Raw and Eddie Murphy Delirious and all
Yeah.
that crazy shit, which was somewhat funny, but there's no way in hell that would ever be allowed to be out now. Some of the
No,
things we
they
talked
would
about.
no way, man.
No. And I think Kevin Hart has bypassed Eddie Murphy by 100 years and then some. He's so good.
Well, I saw those Eddie Murphy ones in the movie theater.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I even had a cassette tape that I used to play in my Walkman when I was in school that I wasn't supposed to have. I think
Oh,
it was Eddie Murphy Delirious, I think, and I would listen to it on audio.
sorry.
Did you guys
so-
get into the Jerky Boys? One last comment.
did.
Thing.
I
no,
did.
no, I didn't. I didn't.
Oh my
I-
god, I was big time into them.
Yeah, check it out. I actually, because they were from the East Coast, that for people who don't know, the Jerky Boys would do prank calls, right?
Yep.
Way before Crank Yankers. And the way it started was they did a tape, a cassette. So Dago reminded me of the cassette thing.
Right.
And what happened was the way it got out there was in colleges. So the Jerky Boys tape started
Yeah.
circulating around colleges.
Yeah.
And people would just share them. They would copy the tapes and share them. And it spread across the country through colleges, underground. And then it got so big that it started to come out as like CDs and stuff like that,
Yeah.
where you could buy them in the store.
It was huge.
Yeah.
They were,
hysterical.
They were so like I remember when I first got introduced to them, I'm like, what in the hell is this? This is absolutely insane. And then we got in trouble with that though back in the day. I used to do,
Oh, you could only say that stuff around certain people.
yeah,
Right.
I used to
Yeah,
do.
Yeah.
Real
Go
quick,
ahead.
I'm gonna let you guys take over for a second so I can go check on the dogs again, or try to find the dog again. But Lulu don't like lies. Thank you, by the way. Thank you for trying to buy merchandise. The merch store has not really taken off for us, and yeah, we did stop the international shipping because the first time I sold something to somebody in the UK, we put a flat price of like $12 of shipping, and it cost us like $40 to ship to the UK, and we ate fucking all of the profit margin up because I'd only charged $12 for shipping. And we never figured it out because I'm not in the merchandising business and I apparently suck at it. So, and I can't imagine somebody from the UK or some other country would want to pay $35 to ship it from the US. So I thought until we find a way to ship to international
Who do
countries,
you go through?
we're just going to turn. Who were we going through? I was just going through. Was it Shopify? No, it wasn't Shopify. I was just using a shopping cart on that was tied into WordPress. I can't remember the name of the company. WooCommerce. WooCommerce is the shopping
Okay,
cart.
that's yeah. I go through Printify, and I think my international shipping is like $7.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty good.
I
so-
ate it and I ate it in the fucking store. I shipped it anyways. I fucking lost all profit. In fact, I lost money sending it, but I was like, well, fuck it. That's a mistake I won't make again. I'll just turn off international shipping until I forgot. So one, sorry that you couldn't buy merchandise. Two, super flattered that you wanted to buy merchandise. And I will try to get the merch store working here pretty soon.
I would try Printify if I were you. I think you'd like the way they do things, and you can do, of course, print as it's
print
bought.
on demand. Yeah.
You don't have to worry about printing out 300 T-shirts and then having them sit there.
Well, I will say
Lulu,
this.
where's I wanted to ask Lulu where she's from in Oz.
I'll be right back, guys.
All right.
Lulu, where are you from in Oz? I'm just curious. I know a lot of Aussies and Kiwis.
Yeah, we are going to be working on the merch store, revamping some stuff, adding some things. So stay tuned for that. We will, definitely be working on that. So that will be exciting. We've got a lot of great designs that we're working up, so it's going to be really cool.
I would look into, if you can, Printify. I'm telling you, I have the ability to get so many different things. I have people that order
I will.
mats for their dog bowls that have our thing. People have ordered cups, glasses, hats, mugs, the big cups, everything you can think of. They have it there. So
yeah,
and their prices are good and the quality's
Yeah,
good. That's what
definitely.
made me go with them. So a DVD of all the intros. That'd be a good
Cool.
point.
Yeah,
I can't believe you brought up the Jerky Boys. That's crazy.
yeah.
stuff.
People would probably enjoy that, and the Jerky Boy, they were hysterical. Oh my gosh!
I got trouble many a times over them. Oh,
Any luck?
we've made the phone calls. Did you find her?
Yeah, I opened the front door and she was there.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's
was
the best.
was
That's
unusual.
the best answer.
Yeah.
I needed.
So
dog.
Yep.
It's funny that Ipati says something about wanting the intros on a DVD. I just had somebody field a comment on my channel today. I have to say, your intros are fucking terrible. Terrible. Totally bad, dude.
I was just asked the same thing about putting mine together on a disc or on Spotify too, because I have a bunch of them now.
You cannot, no matter what you do, you cannot please all the people all the time.
No.
Hi, Mark and Betty.
Lee, Robin, JJ, and Dago, plus all the chatters. Hello from the UK. Yes, like we've got a lot of people from the UK. Somebody said, it's kind of funny. So yeah, anyway, somebody said, hey, you're big in UK. And I'm like, I don't think we're big anywhere, but it's cool. We do have a lot of UK people who watch this show.
We
have
do.
a lot of Australian people who watch the show.
Yeah.
Which is very cool. I almost wonder if our audience is bigger in the
Love
UK
it.
and Australia than it is in the United States, but pretty interesting stuff.
I have a ton of
don't
people.
know, but- yeah. We even have a couple of people I've seen in here from South Africa.
Yes.
I've
Yeah.
seen
Yep.
I've seen New Zealand. I've seen Canada. Yeah.
Finland.
Yeah.
Finland.
Yeah. Yep.
I got.
Uranus.
I have Thailand. I have somebody from Japan,
Holy crap! Wow.
Nice.
South Africa, Finland, Norway. A lot of
It's
Aussie.
weird that this is truly an international community. It's
Oh, yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah, I love it.
And it's amazing, like that countries from around the world watch U.S. true crime shows, but because I think there's a lot of other cases in other countries. The only problem I have with like I've had some suggestions to follow some UK cases. The problem is I don't know. Like I feel like I know American law pretty well, but I don't know anything about other countries' legal systems. So I don't want to get too wrapped into how things work and then say something stupid because I'm going to
hey.
U.S. law. But
Well, that's how
Classes
we
from
like it.
Sasha
Italy.
Rock from Italy. Yeah, from Italy. What the fuck time is it in Italy?
Nice.
Netherlands? See, look at that. Look at
yeah,
the
Eve,
people.
Eve is from the
that.
Netherlands. She's been around for a while too.
Yeah. I got to go fill up my drink. I'll
So
be right
cool.
back. Now that I got my dog, I'm going to get my drink. I'm going to be happy.
Do me a
happy,
favor, you
happy.
guys, if you don't mind. I do this in my channel sometimes too. If you guys don't mind doing it, like, let us know where you're tuning in from. I'm curious to see where everybody's at. 1-1. We know
What's
where
up,
that. I got
1-1?
beef with you, 1-1.
And we know, sir.
I'm declaring
here.
a beef with you, 1-1.
Yeah.
Because you're not here.
Where's the beef?
Oh, I need a doctor. Please, somebody give me a doctor. I sat in this chair and something happened to my ass. I don't know what it was, but I need to see a doctor. Somebody, please.
Some of the early ones were my favorite.
Yeah, they were great.
They started to go off
think-
the rails a little bit later on because they were just trying to come up with material.
Yeah.
And some of it wasn't as good, but some of the early ones were freaking. I mean, people now after Crank Anchors, like everybody's seen that stuff, but back then that was like a new thing.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. Very
City
cool.
says great podcast, Vancouver, BC here. Member for 1 month. Thank you very much for that, City Sue. We appreciate that, and love that we have our Canadian neighbors that come in here and become friends, and just love having you guys here. So thank you very much for that.
Yes, that's a fact. I see Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Oklahoma.
Cincinnati. We got another Ohioan in the house. Pittsburgh, PA. West Virginia.
Manchester, England. Nice.
Nice. Hello, love.
Hello, Governor. Come on and have a toss.
Well, the Mancunians up there, they have a different accent of the north.
Right. Virginia.
Like Liverpudlians and the Mancunians up there, they have a much different accent. Because
30 minutes of the World Cup off. Paraguay. Okay. U.S.
Who's going to watch the
is it
UFC card on Sunday?
Oh, I see. I miss UFC, but we are a true crime show. I swear to God, we really do talk about true crime sometimes.
Well, it's Friday.
Am I staticky to you guys? Amanda says
yeah,
I'm staticky.
you're all warm.
Yeah, you're totally staticky. All I hear is.
Earlier, you were cutting out and going robotic too.
Okay, I'll go out and come back in.
Mr. Roboto, remember Mr. Roboto?
Domo mi gato.
Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto.
Who remembers Dr. Demento?
I do.
Oh my God!
Remember Dr. Demento?
Yes.
I was just thinking about that yesterday. I'm like, they don't have shit like that anymore.
No.
On the radio, for sure. I'm sure you could find it online where it's just these random radio shows.
Here's in Ohio.
I was going to say for our Canadian fans, what about Bob and Doug McKenzie? Do you guys
Bob and Doug, the McKenzie brothers?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Have a beer, eh?
Hey, take off, eh?
Hey. You hoser.
You hoser. We had a show here out of Cleveland that it was called Big Chuck and Little John, and they would play. It was this really tall dude and this little guy who was a midget or short, whatever they call it now. I don't like to use the term, but he was really short. And they did this show together, and it was all they played horror movies at night, and then they would do little skits in between each movie, and It was just a great show. It reminded me kind of Dr. Demento a little bit, and Goulardi. That was another one.
USA versus Paraguay tonight in the World Cup. How about that?
Is this sounding better now?
Yeah.
Well, so far, little people.
Okay.
One of the things you're going to find, I am not terribly politically correct, so please forgive me. I'm old. So what are you going to do? Sorry, you're on.
And for all the Brits out there, I hung out with a lot of Brits and Irish people over the years, and I hung out with some people from the north and people from Liverpool, and I used to marvel at the different accents and how different they were. And like London people, totally different accent. What do they call it? The Cockney accent in London?
Cockney, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. And then Irish people in the north of Ireland, which is where my grandparents are from, Belfast, a totally different accent than people from Dublin.
Oh, big time, yeah. It's like we have north and south here. They have their accent.
Yeah,
too.
totally. But it's interesting, because it's like very distinctive. Aussies and Kiwis, I learned to distinguish their accents. Some people can't, but I
can't. Yeah,
I dated an Aussie for a while, and I learned the differences.
Oh, I see. So when you're banging somebody, you can get the difference of the accents. I get it.
That probably helps.
Anyways, Canny Mag said that they didn't like my tarot. They're talking about my alt channel, The Devil's Advocates Beyond. We are going to do a show after this one if you want to come. So please come tell me everything you think about that whole tarot card reading on the Beyond show, which is about an hour after this show shuts down. So anyways, thank you for watching that, by the way. And I hope that you guys will, for those who are late nighters, or maybe if you're in the UK, it's early morning people, you can come check out that show after this show.
Yes.
City Sue just said, I cannot understand the Scottish accent, and I'm Scottish.
It's hard. I had a guy, listen.
If it's not Scottish, it's crap.
I had a guy that joined me. I can't remember his name. He joined me on panel one day, and he was drinking too. Like drinking, he said. I did not understand one word the man said. And then he would say, right? And I was like, yeah, okay. And I was like, can you say that again? Can you say that again? There was a couple people in chat that clearly understood everything he was saying. I did not understand one thing he said. It was so deep.
Ludo don't like. Thank you so much for the donation. Appreciate it very much. Look at that. If she can't do merchandise, she's gonna get donations. It's amazing. I'm gonna find a way to ship. I'm gonna ship you something. Of course, it's gonna cost me more in shipping than. But anyways, thank you so much. Appreciate that very much, the support.
Miss Bianca said it's 10:30 a.m. and Saturday morning in Australia right now. Thank you, Miss Bianca.
I grew up with my grandmother had a really heavy Irish brogue. So like I got just used to hearing it, and where my family's from in Brooklyn was very Irish. So it was a lot of Irish folk in that part of Brooklyn when I was growing up.
My great grandmother had that Italian, that pure Italian, like there was none. You could barely understand her. Although I was told today, I got an email back from that person that is part of this community that don't like me, that said that my name isn't Italian. After she told me all about myself again, I'm like, oh, okay, my name's not. Thank you for telling me that. Whatever you think, but whatever. My name's not Italian. Okay.
See, I grew up with an Italian grandmother also who lived with us. So she was from Naples. So we didn't have any other like Italian cousins or anything, but so I didn't get exposed to the Italian, like as far as relatives, except for my grandmother, but I'm very familiar with it.
I know it's late for you, Dago, but several of your people are asking questions about whether you're going to be on the after show on my other channel. You're going to be able to make it tonight? Because I've seen more than one person ask. All right. Well, I won't make you commit to it, but hopefully you will be there. Hopefully.
If I'm there, you'll see me. If I'm not, you won't.
Holy shit, that's so deep.
Very deep.
What is
Whoa.
this? Dago, did you see on Birdie's show? It was said that the guy walking the dog in the morning actually called 911 for an unconscious. I saw this morning.
Yeah, I did.
Unconscious because someone was outside in the yard, but that info was removed. Did you see that? I did see. I saw Birdie's comment. Did you see Birdie's comment on that?
Yes, I did.
What'd you think?
Thank you. I don't know what to think because
It was from a Reddit post, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah. And there was
or a 4chan. It was like a 4chan post.
4chan, I think it was, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Baxter. You're an angel. I appreciate you. That's I could almost believe that. Let me be honest with you guys. I could almost believe that, knowing what we know now about that case. But at the same time, you try to be logical about things like this, and then you're like, well, show me some kind of proof, and then we'll talk about it. That's what's hard about this case now. It is so hard to believe anything, but it sounds like something that would make sense there. You know what I mean?
Well, they don't tell you a lot of things, and
Right.
then you hear about other things from other people or other things that have gone around. And as far as the people pushing the information is concerned, we're not allowed to investigate anything that doesn't come from them.
Right.
Which
No,
is
and I was-
not. I don't like that at all. You know,
right.
we're supposed, we're supposed to be able to see things, but more and more, we're, those rights are being eroded.
Yes, ma'am. That's what we were talking about that today. On my channel, we went over, and yes, Eva's right. The Justin Nadeau interview is coming. I'm going to be covering that. We watched the Gonsalves interview today, and oh my God, there's so much craziness within this, and it just doesn't. It gets worse. The more that they speak out, and the more things that they say, there's more people that fall into that hole. And it just doesn't make any sense to me. None of it makes any sense to me.
No.
They're upset now because, since we're going back to true crime, I'm trying to take us back there at least. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. And they said, right, Day. I can't say her name, so I just call her Day. They're pissed off because the autopsy results got released, and that people are making, now this is the biggest statement they made that bothered me the most. They're pissed off because people are making photographs based off of those pictures or off of the results, which, okay, they're not going to give them to us. It's going to happen because people need to see these. And they said they kept contradicting themselves through the whole damn interview. Okay. And the statement was made, I don't understand why they need to know the depth and the width of the injuries or the wounds. I don't know why that matters. But before that, they made a statement that said, like, we understand, we want the world to see everything. We want them to know everything. But then turned around and flipped it and said that. Because, and they were doing an interview with Chris McDonough, who was a retired police officer. He knows the answer to that. He knows why people look for those things. And he just sat there with that dumb look on his face, like derpa, and it's so that we can tell what knives were used, what weapons were used, so that we know for a fact if this is true or that's true or this is not true or that's not true. It matters very much. Okay. Nobody looks at these things. They also made the statement that the sickos that look at these things, they get off on it. That's not true at all. Nobody wants to see this shit.
No.
Okay. This is the last thing. If they were honest with us, and I said this on my show earlier, if they just came out and gave us the truth on these things from the beginning and didn't do what they've done, nobody would care. Okay. But
No.
because of all of this, people want to see the injuries and the wounds so that we can understand if it really happened first. Okay. And second, what weapon could have been used to commit this crime? Now that we know that there were 4 to 5 different weapons, it wasn't just one. People want to see, was it a K-bar? Was it this? Was it that? That's the only reason why anybody wants to see those things.
Yeah, and I want to get back to the autopsy photos in a second. Let me first say quickly to Michelle Rowe 420. Thank you. I see you all the time. You've been a super supporter. Yeah. Thank you so much for being so active and so supporting of this channel. I appreciate you very much. So I saw this thing pop up saying you've been a member for 5 months, your favorite place to be. I see you all the time, even if I don't acknowledge you. So Thank you so much for that. Appreciate it.
It's rare that we don't see Michelle.
I had a moment, where somebody was telling me they were going to show me the autopsy photos, the actual autopsy photos, and the in situ crime scene photos. And they had asked me, how's your stomach? Can you handle this? And I told them the same thing you just said. I don't really want to see it, but I have to see it. Trust me, there's no part of me that gets off on seeing that kind of shit. And in fact, it'll probably make me a little sick to my stomach, and I might even have some fucking problem sleeping afterwards. But I need to see it for myself so I can put some of the fucking rumors to bed or confirm some shit that I think. But I have to see it with my own eyes. And so, unfortunately, I didn't get that opportunity. That person backpedaled on me and said, I can't show you those photos, even though they had them. I knew they had them, but they were like, I can't show you those photos. I'm like, well, fuck, like. I need somebody, for God's sake, fucking needs to let me put my own eyeballs on it so I can tell you all. I mean, because here's the thing. I feel like for my community, I've got people who trust me. So even if I'm the only one to see it, I feel like people would trust me if I say, look, I've seen the photos myself and I can tell you here's what it does and doesn't show. And I know I've got a little bit of a trust factor, but I want to see them. Yet I kind of don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to see them because I'm not fucking into seeing that kind of shit. But by the same token, I have to see it because I need to dispel some rumors.
We don't do it for enjoyment, and it's not entertainment, folks. It's for proof of the things that we discuss. Okay, in the entire case, to be honest with you. So thank you, Bianca, for that membership. Welcome to RSGB from TTV. Congrats and welcome to the sauce. But that's anybody that would think that we do this for enjoyment. There's so many other things I can promise you that every one of the four of us could be doing besides that. Okay.
Yeah.
Truly and honestly, that's a fact. Please don't listen to these people and negativity. We're proud. Thank you, SCA. I love you. I appreciate you very much, hon. Very much. Truly, that's the point, guys. And I don't understand why, you can't contradict yourself. Now, like I said, people want to listen to the families of victims of crimes because they feel like they can trust in them. They feel that those people, if anybody, are going to have the information that is going to be closest to reality and closest to the truth. And unfortunately, in this situation, that's not the case. Okay. They proved it again in this interview. They're repeatedly pushing the same misinformation. And I come to my own conclusion. And I think that it could possibly be because I think Christy she's afraid that if she lets go and allows herself to believe that there's somebody else besides Brian Koberger involved, that's going to dissolve the fact that he did it at all. And when that's gone, they don't have anything else to give them that remote little bit of closure. And I feel like emotionally, that's not something she can handle.
Let me ask you this.
I agree.
Let me ask you this, Dago, and it's actually to all the panel, but Dago, I guess, because you just mentioned this. Somebody sent me some screenshots. I'm not 100% sure, but they told me it was Christy Gonzalez posting comments on the Bubbly Waters, a Bubbly Waters video, where Christy's getting pissed off about people who won't let certain things go, and why do you keep talking about my family and whatever? And I'm thinking I think to myself, why the fuck are you watching YouTube videos? Fucking look.
Watch us all.
I want the families to fucking not have to listen to our bullshit. We're saying shit that's going to be hard for them to hear. Don't fucking listen to it. Go on with your lives. Heal from this shit. You don't need to watch us talking about it. So I don't even understand why the families are engaging YouTube and then getting mad about us talking about fucking turn off YouTube. Go heal. Let us
do it.
Here's the thing. Right. Here's the thing though. They themselves, they now have a foundation. It's not like they're hiding from any of this. They're right in the thick of it now. They've got this foundation. They have a lab involved. They have other experts involved. So this bullshit of saying that YouTubers are upsetting them, well, you know what? They're in the thick of it. So I don't understand how they can they want to keep coming after us when they're now in this community, whether they want to admit that or not.
I know, Dago, you had a point. I have to wonder. I'm sorry, Dago. I just give me one more thought. I have to wonder if any other families other than the Gonzalez's are watching YouTube and all these channels. There's part of me that thinks they are moving on with their lives. They're trying to heal. They don't want to talk about it anymore. They want to, but this one family obsesses over YouTube, shits on YouTubers, takes public stage and fights with YouTubers. And I'm thinking to myself, if I feel, and I don't know, I've never been in their shoes, but if I feel like I was in their shoes, I would want to turn all this shit off and just be like, I don't want to hear it.
Right.
I'm going to move on with my life. I'm going to do something positive. I'm not going to, like, I wouldn't want to spend my life fighting with everybody who's talking about it. So why is it all the other families seem to be relatively quiet?
Because they don't want
going on a campaign.
I agree with you, because I think they are moving on and healing. I think a couple may watch things here or there, but not like these two do. These two, at least she does, I believe, from what I've understood. She said she made a lot of comments in that interview that points to proof that they watch us, because it's only things that I've heard throughout, even in my own community. So
I've seen a picture of myself show up on their family page, so they know who I am. I don't know how well they know, but somebody post, and really, to be fair, I got lucky. They were only posting the comment that was on my video. But the point being is that I like, why would they watch me? Why would you watch me? Like, and again, I'm not anti Gonzalez's. I'm not anti any of the families.
None of us.
I'm just trying to ask questions. But if I were them, I wouldn't watch my show, and I wouldn't give a shit what I have to say. I would move on with my life. But anyway.
I fully agree with that.
Well, I mean, that's like I've been saying, it's like you put yourself in that situation and it seems like there's an agenda. And that's, if you don't want people to look at you that way, and you don't want to hear all this information that seems to drive you crazy, move on with your life. But in my opinion, it's about money, right? They want to control. Yeah. See, in my opinion, when you try to control what other people do, that's toxic. That's a toxic type of behavior.
Yep.
Right. So filing, pushing legislation that violates the First Amendment is bad. I mean, I don't even want to tell you. I won't even go there. What I really...
Steve said to that in that interview, JJ, he's going to be going back to be starting up more legislation to try to shut down even more. So, yes.
Well, you know what? Like, just if you had a tragedy in your life, it doesn't give you license to just have free reign and try to violate people's constitutional rights.
Right.
Because of that. See, that's... First of all, it's shady to me.
Yes.
Because it reeks of somebody being co-opted, and right, because never let a good crisis go to waste. Sure. People swooped in and said, "Oh, we could really take advantage of this," the grieving families, to push X, Y, and Z agenda. And in my opinion, that's what's happening. Because if it was good faith, if they cared in good faith, then they wouldn't be upset about other people looking. It
don't line up that way either. No, I agree with you. And they just going on and fully contradicting themselves throughout the entire interview. They'll say one thing and then they pull it back in another way, and then they say another thing and then they pull it back. Then they're joking about different things, making fun of certain things, and I'm sitting here going, this is so tacky. And it's, again, I don't, like Lee said, we don't hate the Gonzalez family, folks. All we have done is ask questions because things don't make sense. And when we do that, we're the most horrible people on the planet, because, oh, you're attacking the families and you're doing this and you're doing that. That doesn't make any sense. Every one of us sitting here and everybody in this chat has said time and time and time again, I want your child to get the absolute justice she deserves, as do you, for the loss of her, for the crime that was committed, because it was so horrific. That's why I'm here every single day. That's what I'm looking for. It has nothing to do with anything else. Okay?
Right.
And you just like with their new foundation, it was even stated. I guarantee you that people, and I know that they have, and I know that people, because I was one of them, donated to that, what do you call it? What was it? That GoFundMe. Okay? People within our communities have donated to them on their GoFundMes, and will donate to their foundation that they're going to have. And then they will accept the money and turn around and call these people trailer trash. That's what we are. Okay? Because of what we do. That is hypocritical as all hell to me. And I'm sorry, but shame on you. Okay? Because that proves that people here want to support you. and help you to find the truth. But there was even the statement made. Lee, we pulled the stream up not too, or the string up not too long ago when somebody said, "With this amazing foundation, are you going to test the hair that was found in Ethan's
Oh,
hand?"
I know.
And
Yeah.
she said, word for
Fuck
word,
off.
"Yeah, absolutely. I would. I absolutely would if it was real, but kindly go fuck yourself." Excuse me?
Yeah.
And that is what
Yeah.
I'm saying. That, this is classless. It is absolutely classless. I'm sorry.
Well, I
So-
mean, look, there's a lot of things that haven't added up with this case at all. So it shouldn't be a surprise to anybody that a lot of people aren't buying the official story.
Right.
So for people, if you have basic logic, then you can look at a situation and go, well, it kind of makes sense why people aren't buying the official story, rather than fighting and pushing back and seeking constant attention. If you don't like what's going on, don't listen to it. Get on with your life.
Yeah.
And the thing that really bothers me is that they think that they should have it's bizarre. Anybody who thinks they should have the right to control what other people do that's not right. It's something off about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they also have to understand there are a lot of us who either have children the age of these four that were tragically taken, or we have young people in our lives who we care about around that age. And the we're of the mind frame that if this had unfortunately happened to any one of those people that we love, we would want the absolute justice for them. So we come from a place, many of us, this isn't just a sick fascination or entertainment for us. This is because we actually care, because we recognize the humanity of the situation. So we
Yep.
do come from a place of support.
100%. And that's why I get so confused over this. That was another thing Steve said. I just saw it in the chat that as an AI guy, he can't wait for the day that, or as an IT guy, he can't wait for the day that AI replaces judges. Really? Okay. That was a little off putting to me. Go ahead, Robin.
You talking about that? Okay, this ePotty brought it up the other night. This objection AI software. Okay, it is not only going to affect journalism, mainstream media, it is also going to affect the legal system in that they may employ it to come up with decisions that judges would make. So instead of a judge sitting there doing it, they're going to have this AI software do it. Now, AI software already exists within the legal system. That's no secret. But however, it's also been known to come up with wrong decisions. It has mistakes in legal documents
Yep.
that matter, because as I'm always saying, words matter. And when you're using the wrong phrasing and so forth in these legal documents, and employing this new software from Peter Thiel, or Thiel, however you say it, it's only going to screw shit up more.
That scares the hell out of me.
Look,
It scares the hell out of me.
I don't think any of these things that are being foisted on citizens are for our benefit. They're basically it's never been more obvious to me than it has been in the last few years that these oligarchs basically want to control the world. Now, they've been talking about it for a long time. If anybody has watched video clips from the World Economic Forum, for years they've been saying they want to have a surveillance state. They want to have 15-minute smart cities where you can't travel more than X amount. You can't
Right.
drive your car on certain days. You can't do this. You can't do that. And you're under constant surveillance. And guess what? You will own nothing and be happy. And this is what stakeholder capital is. This is what's being pushed, where a very small group of extremely wealthy people own everything. They talk about it openly for years.
Yep.
And people rent things from them. appliances, this, that,
Yep.
bicycles, everything.
Look, look at Rent-A-Center. I mean, half of our house is Rent-A-Center. Honestly, because we can't afford to go out and plunk down, $1,000 on a new sectional or whatever it might be.
That's a huge scam that I used to work for. I was an accounts manager for Rent-A-Center years and years ago before I got involved in the fire service. And wow, that is a huge scam and always has been. And even the courts recognized that from back in the day because they would take people to court that would stop paying. And if people, just so you know, Robin, if people paid over half their contract out, they own that stuff. The judge will not give it back to Rent-A-Center if they don't want to. So
now
it's worse than that.
Yeah, I will say our store is really good with us. We've been dealing with them for like probably 20 years. And the merchandise that we've gotten has been quality merchandise.
Sure, yeah.
But that's not the case at every store in every location.
Oh, no.
No. So you've been lucky in that respect.
And all these oligarchs, they're all under the same umbrella because their companies have all been invested in by the same handful of banks, right? So I did a video on this on my channel about price fixing because these companies have their little secret meetings, Bilderberg Group, World Economic Forum, the Atlantic Council, et cetera, and so on. And they all meet, these leaders of industry in different, segments of the industry, and they come together. What do people think they're doing? They're talking about how they are going to shape the world that everybody else has to live in for their benefit.
Right.
And so why do all of the prices of everything go up at the same time? If we had a free market, then one company could be like, no, I mean, I want to win some business. I'm going to keep my prices lower than yours. But all these companies are controlled by the same investment banks who have either controlling shares or a lot of influence in these companies, right? So they're setting the prices of everything. There's no free market. It's horseshit.
Right. And I want to add something philosophical on that, and then we'll bring you Potty up. So we have a guest backstage, and we'll bring it. Hopefully, Potty doesn't have his vibrator on tonight. We'll see about that. But hold on.
Yeah.
So I want to get philosophical. It's a little philosophical, so I don't want to go too long on it. But I've long believed, Americans in particular, believe in the fantasy that life is great because we have all these toys, but you own nothing. You don't own your house. The bank does. Yet we will say, I own a house. You don't own a house. Your fucking bank owns the house and they own the title of the house. And anytime you stop making payments, they will take it from you. Your property, continue to get property taxes, and the house that you bought can be taken out from under you at any time. You have a car. Almost everybody has a car that's on payments, and the bank owns the title. And then as soon as you pay it off, you buy another car on a title. You don't own dick. Your phones come with a user agreement that says, if you're going to use this toy, that you have to abide by all these rules, and we can do all these things, and it's a one-sided contract that you don't have any fucking rights. They have everything, but if you want to use their toys, you can. And we have our illusion as Americans that we have this great society because we have all these toys, but we own fucking nothing. They own everything, and they will take everything, and they have all the power. And we go, look at all the toys we have. All right. Anyways,
yeah.
I just got fucking on a rant. I got a rant.
That's okay.
But it's true. It's this illusion.
A large ass mortgage.
Yeah. We have this illusion, and like we talked about the other night, George Carlin, the American dream, because you have to be asleep to believe it.
Yeah. Anyways, let's bring up a Potty so that we can shift this from my philosophical rant and depression of the fucking American illusion that is.
And we're taxed. What last thing? We buy something, you pay sales tax. You sell it on eBay.
You got sales tax.
Taxed on what you sold it for.
Yeah.
Yep.
If that person takes what you paid tax on twice, then they
pay it again.
They pay tax on it.
Can I get a jar of Vaseline with the American economy, because I'm just taking it in the ass the entire time.
Grab your ankle.
It's all a money laundering scam.
All right, I'm a little Friday night fucking vulgar. Potty has the vibrator on. What's up, Potty?
Oh, are you serious?
It's your game, buddy. It's your game.
This is an external mic now.
It's not as loud as it was. It's
All right.
way
Look,
better, bro.
In our family, we pay good money for toys like that. I'm gonna just go for it.
How many fans do you have going in your system, buddy?
Well, I've got 3 actually. But
all right, what do you got for us tonight? What do you got?
All right, so just to jump on what Robin just said, and actually it's kind of bigger. I think, we've been all the interviews and all the evidence. It's all in Idaho. We don't see anything in WSU. In
No.
fact, I don't think that they did an interview over there. We don't know any of the people over there. We don't know. Wouldn't some of these women who complained about Koberger, wouldn't they be interviewed?
Yeah, you would think. Yeah.
So this is real quick. There was a name. It popped out in the last drop of all the documents. Kiva Bloxam Bliss, and she's with WSU. So I was looking at the criminology department, and the chair of that whole department is this Professor Newilly. I guess she's from France. And it says here that Dr. Newilly taught for 5 years at the University of Idaho. Generally speaking, Dr. Newilly conducts comparative research on violence and violent death. More specifically, she's interested in issues surrounding measurement and data collection processes, particularly as they pertain to medico-legal practices of classifying death. Then it says, Dr. Newilly's research helped inform SSB 5256, which is the confidentiality of certain autopsy and post-mortem reports and records, which was passed during the 2013 Washington State legislative session. She got what Olivia got back in 2013. She knows Idaho, University of Idaho. She knows Green. They could have together decided that they were going to do something to get Idaho on board. On June 6th, this thing just passed, and I'm wondering whether it was because of what happened in Idaho. And this is research done. AI app guides officers through domestic violence incidents in real time. So these guys over in WSU have developed an AI app that the cops are now using in domestic disputes.
Oh man.
Wow.
That's just.
How do they use it, E-Potty?
Well, it says it's open source. It walks officers step by step through collecting information. Look, the Moscow Police Department, whatever they did, they didn't collect evidence. I don't know what the heck that was.
They didn't.
So it walks the officers step by step through collection information during domestic violence incidents. It's designed to reduce guesswork in high-stress, time-sensitive situations where missing key details can carry serious consequences.
Wow. That's a mess. There it is. Welcome to all of this shit we've talked about tonight. That included reminds me of, you guys remember the movie Judge Dredd?
Yep. Sly, right?
Minority Report, all that, like all of that shit. It takes me back to that, and it's like, here we go.
Well, one of the things, E-Potty, I've been saying, you probably heard me say it many, many times, is you look at what happens as a result of a high-profile event, right? And it usually doesn't happen overnight. It's usually down the road you start, because they do it little by little, right? They habituate people to giving up rights and one of the things, I'm just bringing it up because it's very relevant. I'm doing a live stream tomorrow, provided YouTube doesn't screw me, because I was having problems scheduling it yesterday. But I'm going to talk about how all people get basically psyoped and by them overwhelming people with so much bullshit that people throw up their hands and they give up and they
Like
don't push
Antil.
back.
Yeah, no,
What?
look, you're right. Just over what, just you, the fatigue, just like whatever, do whatever you. Yeah, people are tired.
And there's only so much you can focus. For example, if there was one major issue that was happening, right? People could muster up the energy to follow the steps to push back on it. But when we're bombarded from every angle with all this fuckery nonstop, and it's right in your face, they don't even try to hide it anymore. Then
Right.
people, this has been studied. The CIA conducts a lot of psychological research, right? They're one of the largest entities that conduct psychological research. And they know how people will respond under a given set of conditions, right? So they know if you hit people from every angle simultaneously, they don't fight back, right? So all of these things that I've been saying forever that look like an op to me regarding the Idaho 4 case, and I've said it, so the panel's sick of me saying it, pay attention to what happens as a result. We've already got legislation that's violating freedom of the press. They're going to push for more. It's only a matter of time before the whole flock camera system comes into the discussion. They're already pushing the DNA database stuff, which I predicted as well. It's a very strategic thing. And yes, there's the people that will say, well, they're just capitalizing on this, right? They'll never let a good crisis go to waste. See, I tend to disagree with that. I think that many crises are created to forward certain agendas. Now, it's very difficult to prove that because these are very orchestrated, very, highly coordinated amongst different entities, right? So regular citizens don't have the time to do all the research. And I get it. I'm a working stiff. I have to work. And so who has the time? It's difficult. Some people have more time to do the research. And that's why I recommend to people like Whitney Webb, like high level researchers, right? Because we don't all have, 15 hours a day to do research and write about it.
Right.
But this case is just sketchy.
Well, it's the minute that the families sued WSU and not Idaho, in my mind, made me think, okay, this is just to promote new technology, new. Look, they're the Gonzalez's and the Chapins. They've attached themselves to Othram. Othram's going to have like a backdoor from Palantir. Palantir is going to have a surveillance system. This AI is going to probably, tell cops who are at the scene stuff that maybe they shouldn't know, or
right.
They're going to get
incorrect stuff.
Lucy just said that was the point the whole time. Like that was from the that was always the plan. Which I mean, it makes sense. It's some.
That's why Brian's
stuff.
here.
That makes more sense than anything, E-Body. It really does.
Yeah.
If you think about it, because nobody can figure why do we know Brian? Nobody can figure that out because he has zero, and I mean zero connection to this case. So where did Brian come from and why? Well, there you go, right there.
And I want to address something real quick from Mark and Betty. I know from being in Pennsylvania when this first thing, started and everything, he was investigated for the Pennsylvania stuff. Okay. And he was not determined to have any connection to any of the murders here in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Because our local stations covered that a lot.
I want to address that too, Robin, because
Yeah.
I saw Mark and Betty say, "Why isn't nobody answering my questions about it?" So let me answer it real quick for you. And I realize it's a little off topic that we've been talking about, but since you brought it up, I want to mention it as well. So in May, I believe, of 2022, Dana Smithers went missing. This was before the Idaho 4 murders. After Brian Koberger was identified as the lead suspect in the Idaho 4 murders, Pennsylvania went back and said, "Oh, hey, look, Brian Koberger might have been involved in the same area of time as the disappearance. Since he's a killer in Idaho, maybe he's also a killer in Pennsylvania." The parents were then subpoenaed in May of 2023, after the murders in Idaho, to question whether or not Brian Koberger could have been involved in the murder in Pennsylvania. It was determined no, he had no connection with it. But the media played the fuck out of that. Look, he's wanted for another murder in Pennsylvania. He wasn't looked into the murder in Pennsylvania until after he was identified as a potential murderer in Idaho, and then they went back and looked at him. But that's the way it played out. And again, the tricky part is because the disappearance happened before the murders in Idaho, it made it sound like the parents were subpoenaed in a case before the Idaho murders, like Brian Koberger was already suspected of murder before, but he was not. That subpoena happened after he was identified. Are you following the logic? The parents
absolutely.
Until after Koberger was already identified as a murderer in Idaho, and then they said, well, maybe he did this other murder before he left Pennsylvania. But it turned out not to be true. But it still plays in the public knowledge.
Just like the theory that points to the fact that somebody that has done something like this had to have committed another crime before this. That this is not their first time, and they allowed that theory to be played in the media and used it against him to help drive the propaganda that has convicted Brian up to this point, folks, because people still to this day that are uneducated will look at that and say, but he was involved in the Smithers case. No, he wasn't. No, he was not. It was proven that he wasn't completely. So at that point, they just used that. They did that a lot in this case. They allowed people to say things, and they allowed media sources to put out ridiculous statements. They never made them withdraw them or never made them correct them. They just let them go because it helped them to run the prosecutor's case. And at the very end of the case, as you noticed, you guys, they started backpedaling on little things here and there to cover their own asses. But up to that point, they used that to try to convict Brian, just like they did with the Smithers thing. Just like
and real quick,
with him stealing his sister's fucking cell phone, that made him a bad person too. So.
And real quick, Mark and Betty's point, and I want to make sure I get Mark and Betty's point correctly, because again, Mark and Betty's been around for a long time, and I want to make sure we respect their questions. The real question was that the tip, right? So the FBI told Moscow Police Department, here's a tip. Brian Koberger might be the guy you're looking into. So I think what Mark and Betty's asking is, was that the tip that the FBI gave Moscow? I don't think so. Like Robin's shaking her head. I don't think so. I think what it was after the FBI had already given Moscow the tip that it was Brian Koberger, or could have been Brian Koberger, then people started looking, well, wait a minute. Did he commit any other murders in Pennsylvania? So I think it was an after the fact thing. I don't think that was the tip.
And I personally think the tip came from WSU, you guys. That's my opinion, because of all the nonsense going on over there and all the quote unquote Brian harasses everybody. I think that's where the tip came from. That's my opinion.
I'll be right back, guys.
Me too. I got to drain the lizard.
It's just you and me, Miss Robin.
Yeah. So Amanda sent something backstage that says, now this is Brian Enton, so, go ahead. But the Stroud Area Regional Police Department is aware of the many currently reported news articles in which various media outlets have reported connections between the Dana Smithers missing person investigation and Idaho murder suspect Brian Koberger. We have no evidence that Dana Smithers' disappearance in any way is tied to Idaho murder suspect Brian Koberger. So there you have it, right from the police department that was investigating the Dana Smithers murder, that he had absolutely no connection to that murder.
Nothing.
So therefore, if the FBI wasn't aware of this until after the fact, like Lee was saying, after Brian had been arrested and everything, that wouldn't have been the tip, because his name didn't come up prior in that case, the Dana
No,
Smithers case
it came
at all.
after.
So
Right.
the FBI, he wouldn't have been at that time. He wouldn't have been on the FBI's radar.
No. And somebody, I think Canny said, explain the thing with WSU. Well, I think what happened was I think that there were people that I call it bullying. They bullied Brian Koberger because he's autistic and he was different and he didn't get social cues. He enjoyed conversating with people, so on and so forth. And I think that there was people that were jealous of his position as a TA there, okay? And they didn't, because
Yeah.
Brian was smart and some of them weren't. And Brian was calling him out saying, you can do better than this. This is what my expectation is, so on and so forth. People didn't like him. So in that point, they made complaints. And I think those complaints were used to bring Brian into the picture in some aspects, possibly. This is just a theory. And that is a good possibility as to how they got who Brian was, in my opinion.
I wanted to mention something, just food for thought. In a case like this, a big high profile, really dramatic case, who would be beyond questioning, right? Parents of the victims. Who would be the perfect people to push certain agendas? Parents of the victims. And you've got the Othram scenario, and you've got now what's going on with the Gonzalez family. To me, I never can overlook those things. I can never just say, oh, well, whatever, and not address it, because they're big things, right? Like going to see Othram at last year's Crime Con and seeing the way that they approach things was very eye-opening for me, because it just seemed like disingenuous, that they're just out for money.
Yeah.
And they never found Brian Koberger based on every other bit of evidence that we've seen after the fact, but they pitched it like they did, right? So right out of the gate, they were saying things that turned out, at least based on what we've been told, not to be true. And now it's only a matter of time before more legislation gets passed, and who can't be questioned? The parents of victims. So to me, those things can't be isolated. There's too many things going on with the Idaho 4 case, just like, in my opinion, the Luigi Mangione case, and just like in the Charlie Kirk assassination. There's very glaring things that don't add up.
Right.
So you have to look at the totality of the information, because if we just look at the evidence that we've been told about and what documents have come out and things like that, then we're only getting, we're zeroing in on one aspect of the case.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will say real quick, I'm glad that Mark and Betty asked that question. That's an important point.
Yeah, it's a great question.
It's an important point that should be discussed, because there is no true fact pointing to where this stupid tip came from. You know what I mean? And I think that needs to be understood. I think it should be better understood. There's multiple theories behind how it happened, if it happened at all, who was behind it, what it was, if the FBI did it, if it was MPD, if it was WSU PD, if it was WSU this college, any of those things, and I think it's something that should be talked about, because nobody understands, myself included, truly and honestly, how Brian became involved in this. Okay, because he has he doesn't know anybody there, folks. He lived there for a matter of a few months. There should be no connection. There's no way he should have been brought into this. Okay, so that is a good point to bring to the table when with Mark and Betty asking that question. It's a question that should be asked more often and should be talked about a lot more, until that there's a way to understand it, in my opinion. So.
All right, we got about a half hour or so left. Do we want any? Do we have any more guests that want to come on screen? You want to post the link again? Make sure people have an opportunity to jump up here. I didn't even see a potty say goodbye. I must have been doing the bathroom thing when he's jumped off.
I think he just fell out.
He just fell out.
Like.
All right.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to join us on screen, last half hour, or pose a question or a comment. I'm especially sensitive when people say, "You guys never answer my question." Throw me one of those again if you're saying we never answer your question. We will do our best to make sure that we answer your question. So Potty says no. No what? No, we didn't say goodbye.
Probably didn't fall out the window, like I said.
Be patient and you'll address questions. Yeah, exactly. I don't try to. Yeah, that's the thing. I try not to cut people off. And sometimes I see somebody that wants to have a question, but my panel's in the middle of a really big thought, and I don't want to interrupt the thought. So sometimes I do. I try not to. I try not to interrupt them. But sometimes when I can tell their thought's going to go on for a really long time, I'm like, hey, can I break in for a second? But it's a challenge trying to find how to be respectful to your panel, to let them talk and say their piece without like letting something go forever without being addressed.
Someone being socially awkward and not having good communication skills is not the same thing as them being a violent criminal.
Yeah.
So you have to understand there's a big jump that goes, if someone doesn't pick up social cues, a dude might be, I've experienced this in real life with people, like with girlfriends that I know and whatnot, where a guy just doesn't pick up on their cues that they're not interested or whatever. And those guys can be really off-putting to people. That's a big difference than from somebody being violent or being, that's a big leap.
Yeah.
There's some people that are not socially smooth and they're not good with communicating. They don't pick up on social cues that somebody either doesn't want to talk to them or is not interested in them. We've all known people like that.
Yes. And real quick, Candace Morin had brought up something, and I don't think that anybody's not answering it, Candace, about the crypto stuff. I don't think anybody really knows much about that. That's the problem, because I know, as far as if you're talking about with Brian and all that, I don't know much about that. I really don't. Unfortunately, I wish I did. I've just recently been hearing about the crypto thing with Brian, so I don't want to give an answer that doesn't have a true basis to it and be wrong about it. That's the only reason why I haven't really got into discussing it. But it is an interesting topic to me because I would like to know what it's all about. So, yeah.
All right.
The hex with Gonsalves. That one I don't know much about either. That's unfortunate. I never really went into that.
Did you see the announcement that Steve Gonsalves Jr. is marrying Olivia from that?
Oh, yeah.
And that,
that was
for a while. Yeah, he's been engaged to her for a while.
Right. And that's where that whole thing of like some of the fallout with Christie saying everybody leave him alone, because there was questions about whether he was at the University of Idaho at the same time Kaylee was. How come? And it is weird that of all the family members, we never hear anything really about the evening. Steve's
I heard
really stayed under the radar.
I heard that Junior was at home the weekend that Kaylee was killed, because there were people that said, why didn't him and Christy, while Steve was in the hospital, why didn't they drive down to Moscow? Because he was home for I guess vacation or something. And so that makes me believe he was home. He wasn't on campus.
Here's the
if that's
Dago,
true.
This is the hard thing, Dago, because I struggle with this. A lot of people ask, wait a minute, why didn't the Gonsalveses go there right away? Did they stay and watch football when they first got the announcement? Did they? And I hate even asking those questions. So I avoid it. It is legitimate questions. Like, did they behave the way that we would expect them to behave, and why not? But I hate asking it because as I say, everybody, like, there's a million reasons why they could have behaved the way they did. I hate.
They've answered it, Lee, a couple different ways.
Yeah,
One was that Steve was in the hospital. One time I heard during an interview that they didn't even believe it was true until the sheriff showed up and said, hey, by the way, this happened. Then they took it serious. But then there was a phone call with Karen, Maddie's mom. And I don't know. I mean, I agree with you. Like, it's a very hard, and I don't like asking that question either, because I feel guilty at times, even though they don't seem to care what we think or feel. I feel guilty asking that question because we don't know the situation.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't, it's not so much anymore, because these questions should be asked because it explains other things, I think. Okay. We were told Steve had, what the hell was it? The disease or whatever he has or whatever it caused it, not POTS, but something else, that he was in the emergency room. Okay. And then somebody said, "Well, why didn't Christy and Steve Jr. just drive down to see what was going on?" And they waited there. They were supposedly watching football, and then when the sheriff showed up, then they took it as real. I'm sorry, but a statement like that, somebody telling me, I don't care who it is, that something happened to one of my kids, I'm gonna go figure it out right now. That's just my
Right.
opinion.
Right.
Hunt's disease.
Now,
That's it. Thank you, Moon.
I had heard, this was a little while back, that Steve Jr. was actually doing a lot of online classes.
I heard
Yeah,
that
right.
too.
I heard he did his last year online. Right.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, I heard that
So-
from Christy. Christy Gonzalez is the one that said his last year was done online. And
right.
Why didn't he
look-
go back? That's a good
Yeah,
question too.
And that's the thing. Like, part of me doesn't want to nitpick the family to get to death on every little fucking nuance of their private life. Having said that, they continue to make themselves persona non grata. Like, every fucking chance they get, they're on TV taking shots at everybody. So I think people would probably leave them alone more if they weren't taking shots at everybody else.
Right.
So it's like, it's on the one hand, I still feel terrible asking too many questions about the family and everything about them and questioning every fucking motive they have. I still feel bad about it. But by the same token, if any of the families deserve it, it would be that one, because they're the ones firing at everybody else, saying that we're all pieces of shit for
Yes.
talking about it.
Yes.
So look at that. USA 1, Paraguay 0 in the soccer match for the World Cup.
Meanwhile,
Group D.
we're the ones here trying to support them. That's still
Right.
what kills me. It doesn't make any sense. We could all be out here saying, you know what, fuck this, fuck them. I don't care what happened. I don't care if Brian did it, didn't do it. I don't care whoever did it. It's not. I don't care, and just walking away, which is what they claim that they want. I can't do that as a human being and a United States citizen, because I can't.
Yeah.
I don't believe this is what is happening here in this case, and I don't believe that's how this all went down. And at that point, it makes me not okay with. Oh, hold on, Dago. Do you think BK is a Fed playing his part in a hidden investigation? I hate when I get asked that question. Thank you, Aquarian. I hate that question, and not because you asked it, Aquarian. It is an interesting question, because I can't give you an honest answer. That's my problem, because I have had sources that have told me that there's a belief that there's something to that. I don't have any details. I don't have any real verification of it, which is why I hate that question. But I respect you asking it too, though. Because again, it's something else that if it should be known. Okay. So at that point, do I believe? I don't know what I believe yet on that. Now, that's a very detailed question. Do you think BK is a Fed playing part in a hidden investigation? Let me answer you a different way to that. Do I think it's possible that Brian could be a Fed? Sure. I think anything's possible, and I think it is possible. Do I think that he is for sure? I can't say yay or nay yet. And here's why I have so many problems with this. His father himself made a statement. If it's real and to be believed, and it's in I can't remember the one book, okay, that Brian had disappeared for a period of time when his best friend had died. And his dad said he was gone for a while. We didn't know where he was, but when he came back, we told him Jeremy died. Brian being as close to his family as he is, okay, it makes me just curious. Where did he go that his mom and dad didn't know? Because they know everything about him. What was he doing for that period of time? He wasn't in rehab. He was already clean. He wasn't in school. Okay, he was done with school. He was in between schooling. So where was he at that they don't know where he was? That bothers me a little bit. If that's a true statement, I have to verify that, okay? So was he off training somewhere for something that nobody knows? Or was he just off doing something that he was doing and nobody knew about it? Which sounds so dumb to say. But there again, I can't give you a yay or nay on that, because I feel both ways on it. Is it possible? I think it could be. Is it though? We don't know. But thank you for the super chat again very much. And it's a good question.
I never heard that theory before.
Which one? Which one there, CIA, JJ?
that he's working with the feds.
You never heard that.
I
huh?
know. Yeah.
No,
I know it's shocking.
that's a
little bit.
really interesting theory.
Yeah.
I've never heard it.
Yeah. That's a good point there, JJ. I bet you never
So
have.
if in 10 years it comes out that there was a bigger operation going on, or down the road, I'm gonna sit back one day. I'm just gonna pour myself a drink, and I'm not gonna tell anybody. I'm not going to say I told you so. I'm gonna just bet. I'm just gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna have that drink slowly, because I'm probably never gonna get that privilege to feel like I was ahead of the game, because that stuff is very well hidden. But I hope that day comes. I really do.
Well, there's many people that will. I hope it does for you too, JJ. There's many people out there that will say you're insane. That's ridiculous. There's absolutely no way that that's possible. You got to step back from that statement and look at what you just said. Look at the case in itself and what we have seen since November 13th of 2022 to June 12th of 2026. Okay. Look at everything and think about everything we've seen with this case and tell me once again that that's impossible and it makes no sense. You can't. Because you could tell me that fucking Santa Claus and his 8 tiny reindeer landed on the fucking roof of the 1122 house, and I'm going to look at it and think about it for a minute because of everything else we've seen. Because what else makes any sense, you guys? Nothing.
Right.
You got to listen to everything. And I mean, short of, like I said, aliens landing in the Banfield and doing this. And at that point, I might even go, we've looked at everything else. What the hell? You know what I mean?
Speaking of
Yeah.
aliens, I was just told, by the way, that a new tranche of the UFO files have been dropped. Drop
I heard
3
that
is-
earlier.
Yeah, I'm gonna be covering that on my alt channel for tomorrow. So, but yeah.
Should be interesting for sure. But I don't want you guys to think that if you have those thoughts about Brian being a Fed or working for an agency, it doesn't have to be like the FBI or anything like that. It could be anything that he was, brought on board to do to help something. But
Kim
don't want
Young's.
you to-
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't want you to think you're insane or let anybody say you're insane. You believe what you believe, and you let that be that. Okay, don't let anybody tell you what to think. That's all I'm saying.
Kim Young, I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole, but I have, ever since I heard there was an extortion case tied to this from Pennsylvania, that's what I heard.
Mhm.
I've been wondering, did the girls at the house have some kind of extortion on somebody using some kind of online thing, using compromising photos, just like you asked? And is that the extortion element? Did somebody get killed because somebody was extorting somebody for money over compromising photos, something like that? And it would, and to me, it's 100% logical that somebody might have that kind of rage towards somebody, that if you were going to embarrass them and humiliate them with some photos, that would be an element that erased somebody's rage the same way extreme jealousy would, or extreme envy, or whatever. Humiliation would be another thing that would cause that kind of rage. None of the theories against Brian Koberger show any element that would lead to the kind of rage that he had. But those kind of theories are absolutely, in my opinion, things that would cause somebody to have the kind of rage that was shown against the Kaylee Gonzalez in particular and others in the house. So, good question. What else? Any other last questions? We got about 20 minutes or so. Last questions, comments. I know that there's probably some people who feel like their questions aren't getting answered. We try to do our best to do that.
Let me ask a question myself real quick, since we were
Yeah.
talking about that. So let me ask you guys something. All of you guys, JJ, Lee, Robin, the chat, all of you. What if in a couple years it comes out, or something like that, it comes out that Brian was working in some operation, and I'll just throw it out there. I'm not going to say for any specific agency or anything. What if that does come out to be what was part of this? How you guys gonna feel about that?
Well, I mean, it depends on the details. If he was so it really depends on the details. If you mean working for an agency, as in he was helping out with a drug enforcement issue or spying on the house for that, and then got roped into it and he wasn't really involved, that would be one way. If you're saying that an agency helped commit the murders, that's a whole different way. So really, what do you mean when you say if we find out that he was involved in some kind of agency? Like, that's the part that it really depends on how I feel about it. Depends on what scenario are. I think the most likely scenario is,
for one, are you going to believe it? For two, and I'm sure the details will make a difference in it, of course. But
yeah,
will you believe it? For one, for two, is it going to is it going to make you angry because of everything we've gone through over the past so many years? And that's just like the simple answer to it. I mean, it won't be simple because there'll be more to it, I'm sure. But just what do you think you'll think of it at that point? Is kind of where I was asking.
Well, I'll let JJ take over in a minute because this is his ballywick, right? But I'll give him my point. The only scenario that makes some sense to me is the murders happened. They either don't know who did it or they do and they can't get them. And so Brian Kohberger,
right,
maybe as a person who's been interested in working with law enforcement and whatever, could have said, I'm willing to be your patsy and I'll work with you on the inside of the prisons to go after criminals. And so if that's the kind of scenario that happened where he wasn't the guy, but he willingly agreed to go undercover in the prison systems as the guy who did it because he doesn't really give a fuck what people think about him. And he's okay being painted in America as the worst killer in Idaho and whatever. And he wanted to work with the feds. I'll only be angry that they lied to the entire world and allowed killers to walk free so that they can get somebody on the inside of the prison system. That would make me fucking furious. I guess that would make me furious.
Yes.
But it wouldn't make me feel,
point.
Yeah, I agree. I'm right with you, Lee. I don't think there's any reason that they need to be interfering and doing this kind of shit. They're hiding behind national security or whatever and doing God only knows what, and I don't like it one bit.
right. If they allow the population to tear each other apart and hate each other because of how they stand on the murder that never was true. If they know damn well Brian Kohberger didn't do it, but he's just a fed that's going undercover in the prison system to help them with long-term crimes, and they allow us as a society to tear each other apart and treat each other like fucking shit and call each other names and fucking all of this shit for some bigger agenda, that pisses me off. That pisses me off.
But you wouldn't be surprised now, would you? Because we've talked about this before.
No.
These sacrifices that they're willing to make within the government to complete the things they're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. True. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, see, the way that when I give my theory about that, I'll do a quick synopsis of it. Why was there an 8-hour delay and the people who called 911 were treated with kid gloves, were not pushed about the 8-hour delay? In any other scenario, they would have been suspicious and they would have been pushed and investigated, right? My theory from the very beginning about the 8-hour delay was that there were drugs in the house and they needed to get their friends over there and clear out the house. But this is before Kohberger was arrested. So I have disregarded that theory because they weren't pushed about the 8-hour delay at all, right? And they were protected. So to me, I think that someone was called, a contact person for that house, whether it be within the Greek life, whether it be with the university or something along those lines, or law enforcement, because we've all seen the video. One of the victims was a CI. That's what we all, I think, believe was said, right? And I believe that. So the school steps in, was involved with patrols and things, and potentially a CI program within the university. Now, they would not want that to get out to the public, and they would want to get something on tap right away so kids will go back to school, so it doesn't get out that a program that was involved in that area that they were connected to, that law enforcement was connected to, caused the murder of 4 students. So then you go further down the road. The PCA was total nonsense from day one. They were all sleeping,
Yeah.
and so on. Right. So I'm
Lay down.
just stay with me. I'm adding things up. Then you go further down the road, and then we start getting more documents. And then we find out that there's no way one weapon could have been used based on the wounds and things. Then we get experts that come out and say that there was more than one weapon used, and that there's no way one person could have, essentially, it's been said, there's no way one person could have done all of that and a cleanup. And then in the time that they're stating that it happened, then they're steering everybody away from the earlier timeline where there seems to be a hell of a lot more going on than the 4 a.m., that block of time after 4 a.m. Then more stuff comes out and body cam footage comes out, and then the interviews come out. And we see how really to the extent that they were treated with kid gloves. Now you have a guy, and this will be, I could go on and on and on, but I'll touch on a few more pertinent things. He gets pulled over twice in the white Elantra, suspect vehicle number 1. He doesn't get a ticket in either case for something that people rarely get pulled over for tailgating. They do, but it's
not like that, JJ. You're right.
Yeah, it's not a common thing that people get pulled over for twice in a few minutes and they don't get a ticket. In my opinion, they said, hey, public, here's the white Elantra. Here's the guy. They're introducing him. It's standard psychological tactic, grooming the public to accept this guy as the suspect. Then what happens? A video leaks of him in his prison cell. Look at the guy. We got him in prison. Look at him. Look at him. He's in prison.
Thank you.
Look at him, guys. There he is in prison. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Take all of that and then pile on the other 500 things that are of inconsistencies and shady bullshit. And to me, that points to somebody that was probably already working in some capacity with one of the agencies, either as a researcher, or they had applied to the agencies before, one of the 8 federal agencies, or they had previous contact with one of the agencies and they were brought in. Hey, we're calling you up to the big leagues. We need you for this X, Y, and Z reason for this much bigger thing. You'll be really doing something much bigger. I'm not even stating what I believe is the likely thing that happened with the crimes. I'm just pointing to all the inconsistencies. In my opinion, and I've only just scratched the surface on all the fuckery. There's no possible way that all of those things. Oh, and by the way, the DNA was traced to 4 people in Pennsylvania. And
Right.
by the way, the knife sheath, according to experts, seems to look like it was planted. They didn't outright say it, but they alluded to it.
Mm-hmm.
If all of those things together happening by coincidence are almost zero, the statistical probability of all of those things happening by coincidence and happenstance, circumstance, or whatever is almost zero. So that is why nothing has changed my mind about the theory. And last thing, he has no history of violent crime. They stated at the plea change hearing that there was no stalking. They had no connection to him in the house, and all the other things that they said. Oh, by the way, the things you might think about this case, this is the actual evidence. To me, it all points to coordination, and I just think there's too many things.
Right.
Real quick. I wanted to address Vicky's question or comment. They did a press conference about the house and that they weren't going to take the jury into the house. I will say this. I think it is very telling that they tore the house down, because
Yes.
I think any jury would have wanted to see the house for themselves and how tight the rooms were, and ask questions like, how did somebody get murdered in this room and not be heard from this room? Or the sound. Could something from the top floor go through the vent system and be heard in Bethany's room? They would have
Right.
wanted to know those questions, and they would have, and juries would have wanted to just test it. I believe the house was torn down for those very reasons. They didn't want anybody going, holy shit, there's no way.
Right.
There's no way that you didn't hear. There's no way you didn't hear this.
Yes,
and
sir.
they didn't want that. They didn't want those questions. And I think they also hid DNA evidence. I think they were afraid that a splatter of blood somewhere that pointed to an alternate perpetrator might be discovered on re-examination. Somebody might have said, hey, let's go back and relook and tear this wall out. And they were like, fuck that. If we tear it down, no one will ever be able to go back and question alternative suspects. They'll never be able to look at the sound acoustics. That's the whole reason why that house was torn down.
And I
agree
didn't
with
even
that.
mention the house being torn down, right? Like that's a
That's
major
another big
one.
deal. That's another
Yeah.
big deal. And you
There's
guys can't.
Too many things.
Right. There's way too many. You can't listen. I didn't even think about it until one pointed it out to me in a different way. But the photograph that came out very much in time and in line with everything else of Brian standing in his prison cell. I didn't even think twice on it. And then Lee, we talked about this right here on one of these shows that night. We were both pissed off, going off about the fact that they said, well, we know who did this. But they resigned. They resigned, so there'll be no consequences. And we were both pissed. We were going off. Okay, remember that?
Yeah. Yes.
But let me ask you guys all a question. First off, how many times have you seen that happen? In any other case, have you ever seen O.J. Simpson? Okay, when O.J. went to jail, did we see? No, we didn't. Okay, you don't see those photographs, you guys. And like JJ said, I can't think past that now. It was almost like here he is, guys. He's really in jail. I promise he is. He's right here in prison. There he is. See him? Okay. Just like the Indiana stops, the 2 stops. None of these things make any fucking sense in the real world. Okay. But if you think about it in that sense, you've got to think about it then.
Dago, I saw a great TikTok from Ali Benevento. I think it was Ali Benevento about the same thing. If you see a person in a white lab coat, you think they're a doctor or a scientist because you see them in that fit. If you see them in some other, like a police uniform, you think they're a policeman because they're wearing uniform. If you see them in an orange jumpsuit, you think they're a criminal because you see them looking like a criminal. And so this is a reason why supposedly people are allowed to have their jury not walk in your orange prison garb. You can come in your suit and your regular clothes because it psychologically tells the jury you're a criminal because you're dressed like a criminal. And showing America, Brian Koberger in his jumpsuit in his prison cell was another psychological warfare. Look, he's a criminal. Look at he's dressed like a criminal. He's in prison like a criminal. He's a criminal. And that stuff sticks with people.
That is absolutely correct. And here's the thing. All of these things that JJ pointed out, that Lee just talked about, that I have said, Robin pointed out at some point too, they're all like indicators, folks. They're mind, and I'm not going to say mind control aspects, but it's along that line. It's like, this is what we want you to. Okay, the blinders are on. This is what you're going to see. This is what we want you to hear. This is what we want you to think. That way you believe this entire story. And there's people that do. Okay, there's a few of us out here that think to the side of our brains rather than right down the middle, and go, wait a minute, hold on. What? I've never in my entire life, I've been stopped by the police many, many times on road trips. Okay, but 2 within 10 minutes for the same exact thing, which, like JJ said, following too closely is a fucking joke. You don't just get stopped for following too closely. You get stopped for driving erratically and then charged for following too closely or something like that. You'll get a more of an in-depth charge for them to pull you over to begin with. But twice in 10 minutes, they had a weird conversation both times, and then nothing happened. You can't tell me that because remember how they swore right away? Those weren't connected to this. That's bullshit. We all know that's bullshit. Okay. Just like the in jail prison or in prison photograph doesn't have anything to bullshit. You can't make me believe that anymore. Okay. There's so many things like that, and all the other things JJ pointed out, the house being torn down, like Lee said, all these other little things, you guys. You cannot just look past and say, well, it's just part of the case. No, it's not. This is not anywhere near, never has been, and never will be a normal criminal murder investigation by any means whatsoever. Not even remotely close. Okay? There's something else going on with this. What it is, I can't tell you because it doesn't fit into just one specific thing. But to go back and thinking about, Dago, do you think that Brian could be working for, or is working for the feds? I don't know. But I'm going to tell you right now, Brian absolutely could be working for the feds. We had, who was it? Captain Dollinger, who became the chief, graduated from, what was it, Lee? We talked about that like a month later.
Yeah, he
graduated
went to the
from the FBI Academy or something.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In a month before that, the murders happened. Chief Fry came back from Quantico from taking some kind of a course with them. And then we had 55 agents on the ground on campus mingled with students during the murders. All of this is just a coincidence, right? Not in my book, folks. Sorry.
And you know what? The last thing I'll say about that is in my opinion, there's no way that much coordination would take place to frame a guy. That's why I don't believe that he was framed. If he was a patsy, he's a witting patsy, in my opinion. I just don't think. And now, I've talked about him being a patsy, but I don't think he's a patsy that they found and said, "But we're going to make this guy a patsy." I think he's much more likely a witting patsy.
On the job. Oh, just like the JFK situation. If you look back at JFK, I mean, Lee Harvey Oswald, folks, my understanding is that everybody believes that he was framed and that he didn't know it and nobody else knew it. I don't believe that at this point with what I know of the JFK files, okay? To me, it looks like he was working with him, personally, in my opinion. And if you go back and follow any of that JFK stuff, it almost fits pocket for pocket with this case. It's crazy. All the little things, they all line up. That's all I'm going to say. And I'll
and how much evidence do we have of past operations that and we only probably know a tiny percentage of stuff that we heard about that was declassified or from whistleblowers. That's probably just a fraction of what operations have been carried out. And guess what? In all of them, they're lying to the public and they're utilized to push a larger agenda. Right. And so there is hundreds of billions of dollars invested in surveillance technology by the most powerful people in the world. So I just look at things a little bit differently. And if I see signs, yes, I am attuned to that stuff. So of course I don't dismiss it right away, but I don't look at every crime and go, oh my God, this was an operation. No, it has to look like that. And in this case, particularly, that is to me, I understand why I respectfully disagree. And I don't have a problem if people think I'm crazy or don't agree. That's fine. You know, but this is what I feel in my gut and what I've seen.
I mean, JJ, yeah. And with everything we just talked about, I know I said I'd shut up, but I can't help myself. I'm sorry. The standing silent. Brian never put a plea in. He just stood silent. He allowed the judge to do that. The plea deal, the way that went down, there was absolutely no reason for him to take a plea deal if we think about it. None whatsoever, okay? None. If this case would have went to trial or been forced to go to trial, Brian would probably be walking the street right now. And we all know that. We all know that.
Let me add one more thing to that, Dago, before we close for the night. Hewitt came on in the last month before the plea deal, right? And let me say this. Brian Kohberger maintained for 3 fucking years his factual innocence. Why would he change that? Here's my leading question. Somebody offered him a deal. That's what changed. Somebody said, if you take the plea, here's what we'll do for you. Kohberger, in my opinion, Kohberger probably got something out of this. There's one argument that says Kohberger did this simply to avoid being executed. And sure, that's possible. The time was running out. He had a limited window to make a decision to take the plea or not. But it's also possible somebody came to Kohberger with a last minute deal. If you take the plea, here's what we'll do for you. So the question is, did Koberger get something out of this? Did they promise him something that would make things better for him if he took the plea and just let it go? So those are the two questions that come to my mind. Did he take the last minute plea to save his life, or did they make him a deal and offer him something?
And you know that, to piggyback off that, Lee, that brought something into question. Everybody's questioning Ann Taylor right now and Dr. Turvey, okay? A lot of times, and JJ, you can probably play to this, and you could probably verify this. When there's operations, per se, going on like this, okay, there's very few people that know about it. Very few, okay? It's all kept within. That's that. There's very, very few people that know what's going on. And the way that Ann Taylor responded to Dr. Turvey coming forward and saying what he said now makes me sit back and go, well, wait a minute. I wonder if Ann Taylor, if there was something going on, if Ann knew about it and knows that there's certain things that can throw a wrench in the middle of this, if it's running like this. Turvey may not know about a situation like this because he's not privy to it. He doesn't need to know about it, right? So him making the statements he's saying is drawing attention back to her and why she did certain things, so on and so forth, which could have people start looking into a situation. She's trying, maybe Ann is saying what she's saying and was doing what she was doing because it's part of what it's supposed to be. And Turvey drawing attention to it is not good, okay? And that could be another basis behind why all of that's going on, if you think about that. And it just now hit me like that, too. So there's a lot that could be involved with this, you guys, that nobody's supposed to know, which is where all the secrecy comes from, which why everything's on the DL and everything's kept so damn quiet because nobody's supposed to know, okay? It's just a thought. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and I don't think there was never going to be a trial, in my opinion.
I mean, I agree.
And I said it probably 6, 7, 8 months ago. I said, this is not going to trial. He's either going to get out when the operation has reached whatever goals they needed to reach, or he's not going to go to really be in prison, and then we won't know. We'll never hear anything more about it, and he'll fade into obscurity, But in my opinion, this was never going to trial, and again, I'm just saying nothing would surprise me if he was never in prison and we found that out 15 years down the road. I'd go, yeah, that's called an operation. I mean, they can compartmentalize things. Oh, they started prepping the public for something bad happening to him in prison. Well, isn't that convenient?
Yep.
Have you guys ever seen the movie, The Falcon and the Snowman?
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Yes.
That was based on a true story. Now, what most people don't know about is that I read the actual book that the movie was based on. I've seen the movie many times. There was a follow-up to that movie and that book, which most people don't know about. It was called Flight of the Falcon. And Chris Boyce escapes from prison, and without a trace, he completely escapes from prison without a trace. He flees to the Pacific Northwest and is robbing banks and in the Pacific Northwest for a long time. And then they have no clue who's doing it. And then he gets caught and then supposedly put back in prison. Now, there was rumors because of who his father was, an FBI guy. Well, we know from the movie and the book, Chris Boyce got a job through his father with the CIA. He was working in that top secret vault for the CIA, right? So a lot of people believe that he was pulled out by the CIA. He was there. He was doing operations for the CIA, and he wasn't really giving up secrets like he got arrested for to the Russians, that it was all just part of a bigger operation, and that he was plucked eventually out of prison by the boys from the agency. So my point being, this stuff happens. It
really does.
But because this is true crime, a lot of people, and I totally understand it, they don't frame it that way. So they don't look at this as the way that I do. I know a lot of people in the chat do, but a lot of people don't because they don't know about the operations that our government has done. I mean, read Dark Alliance, guys. Read Dark Alliance. I mean, the CIA was running drugs and guns to raise money that Congress wouldn't approve for the Nicaraguan Contras fighting the Sandinistas.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that book will knock your socks off.
That's insane. That is insane because nobody wants to believe that. But the people that claim that they're fighting drug wars are actually working with it to create money to run through the government to do other things, which is a fact. It's been done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wasn't saying, just so everybody knows, that Brian isn't in prison. I said, but for all we know, he's in prison and living in the warden's quarters or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't know that. I'm just saying.
No, and
Anyway.
and look, I understand people that don't believe this, but I mean, just look at all these operations. The guy who wrote Dark Alliance died mysteriously, right? Because he was dug into a story that surely they didn't want the public to know about. And so everybody, the movie American Made with Tom Cruise, right? Where he was the guy working, flying the drugs and the guns, right? That was Southern Air Transport. It was a CIA front airline, shipping airline. And guess what? Barry Seal, the pilot, died. He was murdered by, the Colombians, right?
Don't forget,
I'm sure
guys,
it wasn't the CIA that took him out because he had all this inside information. I'm sure that didn't happen.
Don't forget,
Bill Cooper.
2 self-proclaimed government contractors have come forward and spilled the beans on some of this to some extent too. Don't forget that either, okay? That's not something that happens in any other case either. You don't have people that are quote unquote unhappy with an investigation that are both working as government contractors at some point in their life that come forth like this. That's just not a normal thing. And that's something that has bothered me since that happened. I'll just say that. So
yeah, no, anyway, I'm sorry for the rant. It's just somebody brought up the Fed theory, which has been, what I've been yelling about for a long time.
Did you? Okay, Dago, I wrote the BK letter, going to put money on this book and I can get my mail gets returned is wrong info. Why is that?
I think because you have to be on the list, Mandy Joe, to be able to send him mail.
I will. No, I'll clarify this. I'll clarify this, Mandy Joe. When I first started writing to Brian Koberger, there's a mail address for sending him books and periodicals, and there's a mail address for sending him correspondence. They are 2 different mail addresses. So when I first started writing to him, I wrote to the address I found online, and that was the place you send books and periodicals. It's not where you send correspondence. And so they rejected it and said, this is the wrong address. And I had to ask, ChatGPT and tools like, why the fuck did it get rejected? And they said, well, you sent it to the wrong address. You sent it to where they send books and periodicals. Correspondence goes, and by the way, to get mail to Koberger in Ada County or CUNA prison system in Idaho, you have to mail it to like Minnesota. It goes to Minnesota to a processing plant.
Yeah.
And you mail his letter to Minnesota, and then they will route it to the prison system in Idaho. So that may be your problem. You may have sent it to, like I did when I first started writing to Brian Koberger, the wrong address. So anyways, I just wanted to share that with you in case that was the answer. I'm not sure if it was the answer, but I did run into that problem. All right, I want to wrap up for the night. Panel, thank you so much. I want to ask everyone, if you are a late nighter or if you're in another country and you're an early morninger or whatever the fuck it is, please consider joining me in about 50 minutes on my The Devil's Advocates Beyond channel, where I'm going to be a little bit more toasty, if that's even possible. And we'll talk about paranormal. We'll talk about conspiracy. We'll talk about crazy shit that we don't talk about here because I put a little bit of brakes on myself over here for the sake of keeping receipts oriented and stuff like that. But if you want to get a little crazy with me, in about 50 minutes, I will be on the Devil's Advocates Beyond channel. So that's how you find it, at The Devil's Advocates Beyond. Hopefully Dago will be there. Hopefully JJ will be there. Hopefully Robin will be there. But if not, then if not. I will be there, however, so consider joining us over there. It's a different type of style. We're going to tell you about a new announcement, by the way, on some movie night on Monday nights that we're going to do. We will, and that's the other announcement I wanted to make for those who might be watching this. We're going to stop having Crimes After Dark on Monday. It's the hardest night for us. It's the lowest viewership. It always does really, really poorly compared to all the other nights. And I've got another channel that I'm trying to experiment with. So we're going to do a Monday night movie night where we take some of these classic movies like The Matrix and Inception and other movies that have deeper philosophical meanings. And we're going to talk about that as a panel for those who show up to break into the deeper philosophical, spiritual, even psychological, paranormal things of different movies on Monday Night Movie Madness. So we're going to start doing that. Not this Monday. We'll still do the Crimes After Dark this Monday, but the following Monday, we will not be having Crimes After Dark on Monday. Unfortunately, that means Dago, who comes with us on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, that's a night that he will be missing unless he comes over to the other alt channel. But anyways, that's it for me, guys, for tonight. I hope that you will come join me again in about 50 minutes, or actually, what is it now, 49 minutes on the alt channel. Dago, thank you so much for coming and joining us tonight. It has been a pleasure. JJ, Stay with the Deep, thank you as well. Friday Night Fuckery was on point with all the conspiracy shit. Robin, as always, thank you so much for keeping all this shit together and keeping me on schedule. And we will see you again. Tomorrow night? Tomorrow night, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern, on Saturday night's show. All right, everybody, you guys, last minute thoughts you want to say?
My first live, hopefully, will still be tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. If YouTube doesn't screw me, and we're gonna get freaky, and we're gonna be talking about some shit.
I'm ready to get freaky right fucking now. I'm ready to get freaky now. But anyways, all right. So yeah, check out JJ's live. If you haven't subscribed to State of the Deep, make sure you check that out. I know JJ's got a big following over here. Dago also he has a huge following. Robin, you got your channel going yet? Do you have a video out yet on your channel, by the way?
I do not. I'm sorry. I will. I'm working on it, people. I really am. I'm sorry.
No worries. No pressure. I mean, I just want to make sure that I'm not mentioning your channel only because you don't have a video to present. But if you want to subscribe, get yourself subscribed over to Robin's channel. It is at it's an Indigenous. Oh shit, I forgot.
Justice. Indigenous Justice.
Indigenous. I can't even spell that shit.
Say that 3 times fast. Come on there, big guy.
Yeah. All right.
Indigenous. And I can't even say it now, damn it. Indigenous. How did you even say that?
Indigenous.
I hope you find us on the Devil's Advocates Beyond. We'll see you in about whatever it is, 47 minutes or so. Take it easy, Rays.
Good night, everybody.
Have a great night.